there are some good ones, and I can't remember them. And now that he's going to start live recording, I'll have to pull them up for you. But they/them was excellent.
Well, looks like we're about to go live. And yes, bada bing, bada bing, just like that. Here we are on a Tuesday night for Triple T number 135. Whew. And I tell you what, I just got home late last night from being gone for almost 2 weeks, and it is good to be home. I have called many places home, and it's always nice to get back there because you get to stay for a little while and you can unpack your bags for more than a couple of days. All right, with that kind of introduction, my name is TJ Zel. I call myself a professional problem solver, which I always follow up with, no, I don't know everything. I just have a unique way of asking questions and helping put together information to help people get the solutions they are looking for. I have the privilege of helping people with depression, anxiety, phobias, PTSD. I offer corporate coaching. I work with athletes from beginner all the way up to the pro level. I now have a couple of classes I'm going to be pushing. One for restaurant servers. That's a 3-level certification up to 5-star Michelin. I also have a class for real estate agents, and no, I'm not teaching you the bylaws of selling homes. I'm teaching you how to be a better salesperson for real estate. I also have a class I completely forgot about. Can you believe that? For new homeowners and old homeowners, but especially for new homeowners. It drives me bonkers that if you're going to drive a vehicle, you have to take a class. You have to prove that you can operate this piece of machinery. But if you want to buy a house of any size, all you got to do is prove that you can pay them the money. And houses are just as big of a machine as a car, and can be just as dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So, if you know anybody that lives in a house and would like to learn how to lower their utilities and do a lot of repairs by themselves, give me a call. How do they get a hold of me? Well, I do have a website, theTSWB.com, the tall, skinny white boy. That is what it stands for. I don't care what you find on the internet. I've been called that longer than we've had internet, so mine is the first one. I do also offer a free 30-minute consultation. That is your opportunity to get a hold of me and chit-chat about whatever challenges or questions you may have. And if I'm a fit, I will let you know. And if I am not a fit, I promise you I will let you know. And I will not only do that, I will help you find the right fit to get you the change that you are looking for and deserve. Also, started something this year. Can't believe it's already August in a couple of how many hours? Yeah, right? But been introducing a brand new tie every week. And this one, way back, I believe I got this out of Grandpa's closet. I remember wearing it when I was in high school a couple years ago. Thanks for laughing at that.
That's a skinny tie.
Oh, skinny tie deluxe. Yeah, look at that. Yes. There's a perspective for you. How's that for the view? Yes. I know some people are like, skinny tie, what is that? Yeah, you have to be a certain age bracket to understand it. Somewhere, and I just thought about this a little bit ago when I pulled this one out, somewhere I still have my black leather skinny tie. If you know what that is, you know how cool I was at the time. If you've got questions and topics for hour number 2, please type them in the chat so that when we hit hour number 2, we can scroll back and get right on it. And anybody got anything they want to share from the last 7 days? Anything cool? Aha. Yes, Lenora.
When I was at HTL the other week, between the day that I talked to the following day, I somehow came up with this is all that I'm going to do. And I finally, I don't know, it just became more concrete because I feel like everybody already in this group knows this. But very specifically, my specialty and my niche is what I consider an emotional eating expert and an eating disorder specialist. And then I get so many emails, and I happened to actually open one of the past emails that I got. And one of the certifications that was out there was pretty pricey. And I finally ended up, they had this incredible steal of a deal on the certification. And I ended up getting eating disorder and intuitive therapy certified over the last week. So I was pretty excited about that. And that is my area of focus. So
Wow.
let me know if I can help in any way, or if you guys know of speaking events or groups or podcasts or anything at all. That would be very helpful. So just putting that out to the universe.
Super cool.
Yes.
Proud of you. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything? Holly.
First of all, I have to say I'm so excited for Lenora. Like, seriously, it feels like this is about to just explode, and I'm so excited for you. You know, I had a ton of stuff coming up the last couple weeks. So I'm just trying to debate, you know, which thing to do. But the one that just keeps popping up in my head, that's been a theme for a while, is this concept of outshining the master. So for those of you who are familiar with 48 rules of power, one of the rules is never outshine the master. And the thing that keeps going through my head is, now it depends on the master, but the best masters not only are okay with you outshining them, they want you to outshine them. They celebrate when you outshine them. And one of the things that I was also thinking about too is whenever you look at a master and you see their students, the ones that have students that have excelled and that have outgrown them, those are the masters I want to work with. So I just love this tribe because I do feel like this tribe kind of supports that energy, and it's so rare to find that. So I'll try that one as one of the many things that keeps coming up. Thank you.
I love that, Holly. And I'm going to save it for hour 2. I love that.
Yeah, and I'm debating, can we bring that up in hour number 2? Because I've got some comments on that one. Also wanted to, I totally forgot, we are live on YouTube, which means I get to say, hey, Mom, love you. And look at here, we got a new face, the other TJ. In case you're wondering which is which, I'm the tall TJ.
There we go. What's going on, you guys?
Welcome to the show. You popped on just in time because I was just going to let people know how the process goes here. For the first hour, I typically have 3 topics that I teach on. And I do my best to get through them. We know that sometimes we get caught on a topic and it's hard to squeeze through one. Then the second hour is open platform, open mic. And anybody on the call can bring up questions and topics. And the people on the call answer first because I like to learn as well. And then if there's anything left for me to add, that's when I add my 2 centavos. So we just got done with another thing we do. We start off, if there's anything from the last 7 days that was cool in your life that you want to share, you're welcome to. We had a couple of things. I know you just got back from Vegas. Any ahas, epiphanies there, or do you want to save it till later on? I'm doing a recap on HypnoThoughts for the first hour, so you can jump in on that if you would like as well. So let's dive in. HypnoThoughts 2024. Woo! Yes, made it back last night, and thank goodness for notes and stuff like that, because those of you that are maybe watching on YouTube or watching the recording, if you haven't experienced all that is HypnoThoughtsLive, I would like to welcome you. If you're interested in this type of stuff at all, come at least once. The selection, the quality of speakers, and don't be I'm trying to think of the right word. Don't be afraid to show up. You know, oh, I've only been in the, I'm not a practitioner. I've only got a mild interest. This event attracts people that have maybe found out about the industry yesterday and want to show up, and those of us that have been practitioners and professionally teaching it for decades are there. And so you'll meet people on the full spectrum of experience. And that's where it's nice, because this industry is changing so fast. Even though it's as old as it is. New downloads, ahas, epiphanies are cropping up all the time. And you'll get speakers there that have only been around the industry for a year. But they have this, they came across this unique insight, and they're sharing it with us veterans. And then you go see the veterans that make me look like a beginner. And yeah, I'm going to see them, because even though I may have seen them 5, 6, 12 times, it seems like I always get one more little aha, download, epiphany. And for those of you that are veterans here, what are the 3 most expensive words when somebody offers to teach you something? I know that. It doesn't matter if you've learned this 25 times before. You're not the same person that you were the first time you learned it. You're not even the same person you were the last time you learned it. And it was the same for me. I've got notes and notes and notes. And a couple of the classes I took, just based on the title of the class, I knew that if somebody came to me and said, the speaker couldn't make it, we need you to teach this, I could easily step in and teach my perception of what that class was supposed to be. And yet I show up and they start teaching, and I'm note-taking deluxe, because they've got a different spin on it. One of them, Richard Nongard, legend in the industry, great guy, wealth of knowledge. What's he got now? 4 doctorates, or I don't know, I lose count. He's got enough wallpaper to make mine look like a tiny little notepad. He could literally wallpaper the inside of a mausoleum with his certificates. And his talk was on creating confidence to work with anyone. And I like how he started it. He asked the simple question, what is confidence to you? That's one of the challenges with language. So many people have so many different definitions of words. And you guys have heard me teach this many, many times. Nothing means anything until we give it a label. And yet, our definitions are so different from person to person to person that it's hard to say this is what this means to me without having that background definition. And I've lost count of the number of people that tell me, well, I just don't have confidence. I just need more confidence. And it never dawned on me to ask them, well, okay, so what does confidence mean to you? What is your definition of confidence? And what is the opposite? What does the lack of confidence mean to you? Because those two definitions can show you where to direct them. Now, I'm a big trainer, whatever. I let them know that confidence is not something you wish for. It's something that is earned. And the self-help industry of the 70s and 80s absolutely did us a massive disservice. Because all they preached was, you can do anything, you just need more confidence. The reason you suck is because you have no confidence. The reason that you're afraid is you have no confidence. Just get confidence. The problem is confidence is a byproduct. It's an end product. When do you become confident? After successfully completing a task a number of times. If you had to wait to start a project until you were confident, what would you start? Nothing. You'd be sitting there educating yourself, waiting to get confident before you got started. In the meantime, the other person who didn't catch on to that theory went, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to do it. And they're going out knocking it down. They've 4 or 5 successful tries in. They are way more confident than you ever have, and they're 1/10 as educated about the subject. And when it came to whether or not hypnosis works, because in our industry, a lot of people have a lack of confidence in hypnosis because they've watched too many movies and TV shows and all the other things around it. Went and saw a hypnosis comedy show, which I adore those guys. I respect them because I don't know how to do stage hypnosis, even though I've had a number of them tell me that I should. But I have to admit, it was seeing stage hypnosis that freaked me out. Because I'm watching people up there doing stuff that I'm like, yeah, that ain't never going to happen. Nope, no hypno over here. And so for those of us that are doing it for therapeutic reasons, it makes it a challenge to let people know that This is how it works. Yes, you'll be in control. You're not going to be clucking like a chicken. I'm not going to make you forget your name. I'm here. And one of the great quotes that he said was, hypnotists draw your attention to what is right instead of what is wrong. One of our strongest tools, our biggest superpowers, is to show people they're not broken. They simply have habits that can be changed. They've got programming on their hard drive that was put there by somebody else that doesn't need to be there. They have self-talk that's a self-program that is draining energy. They've built a tribe. They're around people that don't lift them up, that tear them down. And they're like, well, that sounds like cheerleading. Well, in a way, we kind of are. But we do it in such a way that we can get the subconscious and the conscious to agree on the change. We get the subconscious and the conscious to agree on the change. And Nongard pointed out there are 112,000 journal articles that show that hypnosis works. 112,000. And obviously, that's just a rounded number. There's a book out there that can help for new people in the industry called 101 Proofs That Hypnosis Works. A lot of great stories, articles, things like that. So it's another great confidence builder for people who are new to the industry. What else we got here? Oh, something that I was going to use tonight anyway in the intro and forgot is he likes to tell his clients, thank you for sharing this time and space with me. Thank you for sharing this time and space with me. That rang pretty true with my feelings towards you all. I appreciate you being here. Because without you, I'd be just talking to the screen, which I've done before. My squirrels are really good at that. Any questions, ahas, epiphanies on what I covered so far on Nongard? Holly.
You know me, I've always got something to say. So two things that really popped up when we were talking about confidence that I've never thought of before. So first of all, for me, a lot of times I think of false energies and real energies is what I call them sometimes. Sometimes I'll call it toxic versus, healthy or pure or whatever. And I think that there's more, because I never really thought about what's my definition of confidence before. And I was thinking, so for instance, power would be another good example. You've got tyranny. That is a form of power, but I'd call that the dark, false, desperate, out of control kind of form of power versus, real power, which is that, speak softly, carry a big stick kind of sort of energy. So with confidence, I was just thinking there's a good positive confidence that's very healthy, that's very supportive. And then there's also a toxic confidence. Like, do you want somebody to fly a plane who's never been behind the wheel of a plane, never ever, flown before, put them in a big fighter jet or, whatever, and you're going to get in the passenger seat if that's something that you're willing to do because they're confident they can fly it. Confidence and competence both matter. And one of the things I was thinking about is competence without confidence is impotent. And competence without competence or competence without confidence. You need both in order to make anything really long lasting, really valuable work. Now there's probably more to it than that, the positive, whatever. The other thing that I just popped up. So one of the rabbit holes I've been going down recently is this concept of obliquity. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that. But they talk about that it's very interesting in life that if we want to get results, if our stated goal is to get that result, a lot of times it will make us less likely to get that result. Usually we get our results by aiming at something else. So like, for instance, they were saying if a company, if their stated objective is we want to maximize profits for shareholders, they've done some research that shows the companies that state that as their goal almost never maximize profits for shareholders. Whereas the company that says our goal is to value our employees and our customers, and those are the companies that maximize profits. So, kind of this idea of if you aim to be confident, and I've been thinking about a lot of this, I've been thinking about maybe doing a short YouTube video on it. Why would that be? And I think there's this idea of correlation and causation are not necessarily the same thing. And I think sometimes we get the cause and effect reversed on a lot of things. And so a lot of people say, well, I could do this when I'm confident. And it's no, when I do this, I'll be confident. Getting that reverse. If you're always aiming to be confident, if you set that as your stated goal, the odds of getting there are not necessarily that high. Whereas if you go about and say, I'm going to get stuff done, that's when you become confident, because we're looking at it, that obliquity thing. Anyway, we'll stop rambling.
No, exactly right. Mark.
I was going to say I had a couple clients that I had done spinning with the other day, and the first one had no confidence as it was going to work. I said, well, that's fine, because you don't need to have belief or confidence that it's going to work. I know it's going to work because I've done it over 1,000 times. So I had perfect confidence. But later in the day, I was talking about doing spinning, and I've done, and I've spun out I've used spinning 3 times with him. And I said, do you think you could do it on yourself or with other people? And he says, oh, I don't know if I'm, confident enough to do it. I think there's a tipping point when you're learning a skill, and you have to do it so many times before you feel that confidence. So that's just with spinning. Like I said, I have perfect confidence because it's never not worked when I've done it. So if anybody doesn't know what spinning is, it's neurosomatic verbal repatterning. But Dr. David Snyder teaches it. And but yeah, that's that. I think there's a tipping point at which confidence arrives. That's all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another great example of confidence without competence. Look at young boys building bike jumps back in the day. We were all very confident that it was the best jump ever and it was going to be safe. Yes, right? I think I got one right here too. Yes. And yet we're still here some way, somehow. Which perfect segue. Good buddy of mine, Bill Anopoli. Chronic pain versus acute pain. Anybody know the difference between the two?
Chronic is ongoing, and acute is instant. It just happens.
His easiest definition, chronic pain lasts over 3 months, and acute is under 3 months. And when people come to you for acute pain, isn't that acute? No, not that kind of acute. Acute pain is your opportunity to intervene to help with the pain or discomfort, to prevent it from becoming chronic. But of course, those of us in the industry hopefully have also all been taught when somebody comes to you with a pain, the first thing you have to ask them, if you were to ask your doctor, would it be okay to take away this pain? Have you had it checked out? If somebody comes to you with chest pains that just suddenly showed up, this would be a good time to send them to the hospital to make sure that it's just gas or something. Because yes, we do have the ability to remove pain, but pain is a signal that is put there for a reason most of the time. The other thing he pointed out is pain is whatever your client says it is. And you have to listen to the words that they use to describe it. Words are functions of their life experiences, how their tribe and family experience pain. One thing you'll find, some people are a little more sensitive to what they think is a life-altering boo-boo. And then you got other people where they could have their leg ripped off, and if they thought that they could fix it with some duct tape, an old shop rag, and a 2x4 to walk around on, they'd do it because they were taught you just rub some dirt in it, walk it off, man up. And yet I've seen some people that just about fainted. You thought that that's what happened to them because they got a paper cut while trying to shuffle some paper. And so you have to look at how are they describing it, get more information. Is it okay to take away the pain? And past, present, and future experiences all affect reactions to pain. And, I'm sure somebody out there is going, future experiences? What? Well, if you get a certain injury, and in the past, the recovery rate or whatever has been extremely long set, uncomfortable, your mindset towards what that level of pain is can be amplified because you're already anticipating what is going to happen in the future without getting true validation of whether or not the injury is really the same as the one that happened in the past. That makes sense? This was interesting. What is pain?
Discomfort.
Pain is nothing more than an electrical signal that's interpreted by the brain.
Accurate.
And how does your body discover pain? The body sends a signal to the brain. The brain assesses the signal and chooses a protocol. As it heals, the signal rate decreases. Now, has anybody other than me ever had an injury that they didn't even know happened? Didn't feel pain, nothing, until it was either pointed out or discovered. Interesting how that works, huh? Michael?
It's kind of like when you're watching a little kid and he falls down or she falls down and hits her head, or, you know, if you're like, oh my God,
Yes.
versus, oh, it's all right, you know.
Yep. No, I do that all the time. My favorite is good save.
Yep.
They're like, what? Good save. But you see the helicopter parents where the kid trips on lush green grass. Like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? The kid's like, I must be in trouble. Wah! I think I broke my kneecap off. Then you got the other kid that's up in the old metal monkey bars and does a flip flop and hits 12 bars on the way down and face plants into the cement. And Dad goes, good save. That was a great job. And the kid gets up and goes, yeah. Seen it. Watched it. May have done it. But I've many times with the type of work that I've done, feel something running down my arm or something, look down, and I'm bleeding. I'm like, what the? And I learned if I don't look at it, it doesn't hurt. And I go to somebody else and I go, that's just a scratch. And if they know me and they know it's going to be okay, yeah, it's just a scratch. I'm like, good, bleeding like a stuck hog. That's good. And I'm fine. But there have been a couple of times, got a good cut and feel the blood. And I'm like, what the what? Look down, and as soon as I saw it, my brain went, that ain't right. We're going to sound the alarm. I'm like, no, please don't. No. No, we don't need that. I was fine before. It obviously didn't hurt that bad when it happened. No, we saw it. There's damage. So we're going to have to sound the alarm. It's going to hurt for a while now. Michael.
And like when in Predator, when Jesse the Body Ventura got shot, Jesse, Blaine, you're bleeding. I ain't got time to bleed. You got time to
right? Yeah, it proved to me at an early age how much of a mind trick pain is. Even when I was in Taekwondo and broke my pinky toe to where it was like this off of my foot, I heard the snap. I knew something happened. I landed back down, and the guy holding targets did one of these. He goes, and I'm like, that's not good, is it? He goes, no. And I didn't feel it. It didn't hurt until I went, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. I should probably see how bad it is. Oh, there's my toe off the side of my foot. And then in a rush, the pain went, boom, problem. We're sending you a signal. I'm like, I already got it. I'm good. You can take the signal back. No, we can't. No, we've got lots of signal now. You're going to enjoy this for a couple weeks. Mark.
I was working with this police officer who worked with dogs, and he got mauled on his arm, and he got in his truck. He was driving to the emergency room, and it was pumping blood, and he wrapped it, and he's like, what did Mark teach me? What did Mark teach? And I'm like, and I had taught him color breathing to use with his kids, you know, with you know, what color is it? You know, oh, what's a really great color? And he literally was able to color breathe away all the pain entirely, so that when he got to the emergency room, when they looked at him, he said, "Yeah, we got to stitch that up. Do you want a shot to numb the pain?" He's like, "No, I'm fine," because he had color breathed all the pain away.
Yeah.
But I taught it to use with his kids, you know, when they fall down. Oh, my foot. Oh, okay, look at it with your inner eyes. What color is it? You know, what would be a really great color? You know, and start breathing that, you know, into that spot. But he had taken what I taught him, and when he had a serious injury, he was able to color breathe away all the pain.
Yeah. Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
I've heard it, something like that. And of course, he also brought up the worst case scenario thinkers. And for those of you that have been around Planet TJ for a while,
You don't know any of those people.
you know how I feel about worst case scenario overthinkers. But he pointed out that the worst case scenario overthinkers will re-ruminate the pain and keep the signal alive far beyond the regular length of time. And that's where a lot of times you'll see people with ghost pains, or, you know, they're into, "Oh, doc, it still hurts." And the doctors do every test. They can't find any reason for the pain anymore. And so after an extensive search for witch doctor in the yellow pages, they come to us, and we're probably the last line of defense for those type of people, if they're willing and ready to get rid of the pain. Lenora.
Brent Baum has a number of stories about pain, and one of them in particular that stands out is they severed the nerve between the person's pain. They completely severed the nerve, and this person still had pain.
Yes.
They finally were able to, through a variety of channels, cross paths with Brent Baum, and because it's memory-based pain, reframed the memory around it and relieved the pain, which I think is staggering given the fact that this person went through a number of procedures to release this pain. So
Yeah.
it's something to be said that, yes, going to doctors is always helpful, but also looking at as much information as possible to get a better idea of what is possible for you could have saved a nerve. My God.
Yeah. Just like the people that get phantom limb pain when they lose an extremity, and they can still feel the pain in their hand that's not even there anymore. And for us to have to go in and help them with that as well. And there's a number of techniques that we use. One of the things,
migraines. Oh, sorry.
especially when you brought that up, a perfect segue. Bill also pointed out the 3 I's of Western medicine. The 3 I's of Western medicine: inject, ingest, incise. The 3 I's: inject, ingest, incise. We'll either give you a shot, we'll give you a pill, or we'll cut it out. And the 3 I's of mind-body therapy help to redirect the signal and rework it. The 3 I's of mind-body is instruction as to what is happening and what is not happening. Indifference, which involves meditation, hypnosis, things of that nature, to allow that the people to understand that pain is just information coming to your body. You can let it go. In many, many ways, it is nothing more than a story. And the third eye is involvement. Involvement with the body. Make them move their body. Reframe the pain or not. And help them to understand anticipatory pain. A lot of people will stop moving their body because it hurt at one point, and they're anticipating the pain.
Who was this speaker again, TJ?
Bill Anopoli, Anopoli, out of Cali. Any other inputs, ahas, epiphanies, questions on that? Holly.
Okay, so loving this, by the way. One of the things I was thinking about that keeps coming to my mind is this Doctor Who quote of "a wonderful thing, pain. Without it, no species could survive." And so it's this idea of being grateful to our body's ability to feel pain. The analogy that keeps coming up in my mind is like pain is like a car dash, the dashboard lights on your car.
Yep.
And I was just kind of thinking, at one point I had a really low tire and my dashboard let me know. I was able to fix the tire, but then it turned out that the light, the sensor in the tire, when it went flat, got broken. So at first it was indicating something that really needed attention. And who knows, it may have saved my life. I wasn't driving on the freeway and having my tire blow out because it was low and I hadn't noticed. But once it was broken, now it was indicating something that wasn't there anymore. It was already fixed. I just think that's such a great analogy for pain. I was kind of thinking, but it could also go the flip side of, I'm also thinking of, for those who've seen The Big Bang Theory, Penny has a light that she just ignores until her car breaks down because it actually was signaling something real. And so I was just kind of thinking this idea of building, I think that we can get healthier pain systems when we build trust with our subconscious mind. And so I kind of was thinking, and I just barely started thinking about this, but the good purposes of pain. For acute pain, one of the things I was thinking is it's very helpful because it reminds us that the body is still healing and it's trying to basically immobilize us, until we're able to heal. So for instance, if you have a broken leg, the last thing you want to be doing is walking around, running marathons on that broken leg. You want to give it space to heal. Another thing I was thinking that pain does for us is it's kind of a way to attract support. So if we're in trouble and we get in pain and we scream out or we cry, people around us might ask us, are you okay? Do you need help? So if you're caught underneath, a car that rolled over, you're screaming and your screams are going to bring the police, are going to bring people to help extract you from the emergency. And then the other thing was for chronic pain, of course, I think one of the number one things chronic pain does is it tells us that there's a life lesson, a safety lesson somewhere that it is put in place to keep us safe because we did some kind of pattern. And this is the best, it may not be the best solution, but it's the best solution our subconscious mind was able to come up with to keep us safe so that we don't injure ourselves again. So I definitely, when that, that light is still on, that the thing has been fixed, definitely the thing we want to do is let our subconscious mind know, hey, I got your message. I fixed the problem. It's okay to turn the light off now. But I think sometimes people get so mad at pain and think it's always bad and we just want to get rid of it. If you start, we can turn that light off before the system is fixed, but it's not necessarily going to benefit us and we're not building that trust with our subconscious mind. So another thing I was thinking too is this is not necessarily the purpose of it, but a lot of people will use pain two other purposes of pain would be to distract from bigger pain. So this might be, people who are really, really depressed start cutting because they can focus on the pain and the cutting to, avoid the bigger problems. And also I was thinking of pain as an excuse. I haven't succeeded. Oh, I can blame the pain.
Yes.
And as soon as we lose the pain, we lose the excuse. So anyway, I think it's that balance of, first of all, acknowledging pain sometimes is right. It is that light that's getting our attention that something's off. And if we could be grateful for that and actually pay attention to it and say, hey, okay, subconscious mind, what are you trying to tell me is off right now? What is it that I need to do to heal? What is it that I need to do to have a healthier pattern in my life? And I think when we do that, on the flip side, anytime that we're using that pain because, it's an old pattern that's already been solved, I've got the message, don't worry, body, I'm going to let you heal that broken leg. I'm not going to be that idiot that's running marathons on it because I want to prove how strong I am and tough I am. Or you tell the body, yes, I'm in a battle zone right now. Yes, I've broken my leg, but I have to run this marathon or I'm going to die. So, got your message, internalized it, and now I'm making the right decision. Or also, I am willing to give up my excuses. I am willing to face the pain and admit that I'm wrong to be stronger. Or also, I'm willing to ask for help when I need it. So I don't need to keep being in pain because I need help and I'm not willing to ask for it. I think when we honor the real reasons for the pain and we build that trust with our subconscious mind and build those patterns, then when we tell the subconscious mind in the future, hey, I don't need that pain, got the message taken care of, it's much more likely to say, oh, you know what you're talking about. We're on the same team. Yes, I can let that go.
Yep. Yeah, good one, Mark. Mark put in the chat. Marines teach that's not pain, recruit. It's weakness leaving the body. And there have been days I've felt a lot of weakness leaving my body. And there was just before that, thanks, Mark. Now my squirrel forgot to leave the package. There was something that I was, there are people who have no pain receptor or signal in their body, and they have to be extremely careful. They don't feel sensation at all. They don't feel like they're the kind of people that if they got too close to a fire, they wouldn't realize that they were injuring their body because their brain does not recognize the pain signal at all. And so you're absolutely right. It's not that we don't need pain. It's learning how to utilize the signal to the best of its capacity. The other thing that I've found to be very interesting is a broken heart is on the same pain wavelength and can be treated with aspirin just like other pains. And people are like, what the what? Yeah, they've proven it in tests. Suffering a broken heart? Well, take an aspirin to make the pain go away. Doesn't mean the memory goes away, just the pain, the suffering. So, whether that's a hypnotic suggestion that worked, I don't know. But there are some people that could use it. Mark.
One of the inspiring things of many that Dr. David said one time is he's cured a broken heart by spinning it out. So as I was progressing, I was sending out my intent. I'm like, yeah, I want somebody to come in with a broken heart. So I see if I can spin it out. And sure enough, someone came in and I was able to spin out his broken heart. So I was like, when he said that, I'm like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah, right?
Very inspiring. And I did it once. So, success.
And for those of you that are watching this, whether you're a practitioner or just curious about it, it can be done on your own, but it is much more effective when you have somebody helping you. It's a bit of a challenge to be the driver and the passenger of the same vehicle. I know, because I've got one signal right here, right there, that I've been trying to spin out for a long time. And it's not cooperating. So if you're trying to do this work on your own and it's not working to the best of your abilities, you're not alone. And it'll be fine. I know what it is. It's an old war wound from back in the day. My body's trying to remind me of some of the stupid stuff I did back when I was young, dumb, and bulletproof. And we got 5 minis. There is, and I still have yeah, that's the kind of conference it was. So I'm not gonna go into too many of these. There's so many good speakers that I saw that I would love to absolutely highlight on here again. If you want a really good way to break down speaking, you can check out Frank Prince at frankprince.com. And he had a really good way of teaching people how to speak without being a public speaker without notes. Mark, you had a...
Just earlier you said you were going to involve the ladies tonight. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to get to that.
Ah, look at you, a ladies' man. That's what I like. Well, they said that they had some stuff that they were going to be able to share in the second hour because both of them were able to show up. TJ also, the other TJ, got to show up at HTL. So if he had any takeaways he wanted to share, we could do that as well. And considering we are 3 minutes away, Justina Dewan did a great talk on the secrets to a lucky life and talked about a lot of different ways that you can get luckier. Callie Rempus did a great talk on 4 weeks to a better body, health, and beyond, helping clients with fitness goals. So, yeah, lots of good stuff. Elizabeth Sterling, if you're into social media, did a great fun talk on social media essentials. And her 2 main deals is play and make it fun so it doesn't feel like a chore. Celebrate when you get them done. And don't worry about having a perfect product put out. Like Dr. David often said, an imperfect something will always be better than a perfect nothing. Which is how we got to episode 135, because for 3 years I wanted to wait until I had something perfect. And then finally I just went, you know what? We'll just throw this out there and see if anything sticks. And here we are, 1 hour into 135 of these. So let's get hour number 2 rolling. While we're going through these, did Either of you ladies have any memories, takeaways, or TJ that you wanted to share from HypnoThoughts? Oh, just before Lenora, because I'm going to let you speak right after I talk about how you got thrown right up into the fire. Yeah, I know. Because HypnoThoughts is run by two amazing people and a staff helping them out and utilizing technology and scheduling boards that you see around. Well, the technology said that Lenora was on at 10, and the scheduling board said that she was on at 9:30. And we had met in the hallway. We're just chit-chatting, walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden, Scott shows up and he's like, hey, we screwed up. It's on us, but you're supposed to start 5 minutes ago, and you got people in the room. So let's go. Boom, and ran into the room, and I got to give her full-on kudos. Nothing like walking right in with people looking and having a mic slammed on you and going, hit it, because 10 of your minutes are already gone. Give it your best shot. And you did amazing. So there.
Thank you for your very kind words. Yes, it was a bit intense, but we did it, and it was a really great experience. So I didn't have any of the setup that I thought I had that I was going to have, and what I really liked was somebody pointed out, I believe it was you, TJ, that I would have just stood there and like gone over and prepped the room, like mentally prepped the room, and could have done it the exact same way. In this case, I didn't have any of that. So there was really just, hey, it's go time. And it was great to be able to do it on the fly. My biggest takeaway was that I like doing it how it comes naturally rather than setting myself up going, this is how it exactly has to go. And especially when I did the TED Talk, what you guys did not see was about 30 to 40 recordings of how I precisely said every single line and how it was cut down. And doing workshops and teaching is very, very different. And I need to break out of the habit that I put myself in for my TEDx, because it was just a very different experience and it called for a very different level of delivery. When it's at a workshop, when it's at a conference, that's what I loved the most, is being able to see other people and how they teach and how they share and how it becomes very natural. Because I can get very, very structured and it's not nearly as fun because then I get way more critical about it. So it was nice to be able to just go in, see how I did, and then really the aftermath of being able to reflect on what I did, what I liked, what I want to improve upon, and then being able to really do it much more naturally. So it actually gave me way more confidence. Hilariously, we're talking about confidence again, to start doing workshops and masterclasses on like Facebook Lives and just, hey, here's a meetup. This is what I'm teaching. And if you want to come on over. This is what we're going to be focusing on. And that was the biggest takeaway from it for me, at least on my very specific delivery.
Well, and what was my reaction? If it had to happen this way, I'm so glad that it did, because it's I've done this type of stuff long enough. It happens, and there are so many people that are so rigid about the way they have to be. They have to get in, they've got to do their room meditation, and they've got to have their stuff set out, and then they've got to have and if they can't do that, they can't function. And I've been tossed in the fire. like that. Grab the mic and just go with it. Do the best you can. And you had great involvement from the crowd. You had great questions. You didn't stumble over your information. Yes, Elijah, baptism by fire. Like it was flat on. But we gotta go. They're winning. Do it. All right, hi, I'm here. Here's what I've got. Here's the stuff. Da 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 da. And boom, knocked it out of the park.
Thank you very much for that support. I appreciate that.
Any other talks that that stood out?
Oh yeah. There was a talk by, I loved the one that you had mentioned. I forget her name. It was the Lucky, and it was how to get lucky in life. And she had such phenomenal stories and insights. And I actually, it was something that she said just put me in a totally different space. And I was capturing small pieces of it, but I just kept writing and writing, and other things were downloading during that. So I really, really, really enjoyed that one. And then Tracy's was fantastic, of which, guys, I'm still
Tracy
trying to
Cannon,
figuring out how to add humor. I feel like this is going to be like a life journey for me, how to add humor in sensitive things. And the one Callie had delivered about a health coach, she is a health coach and a health practitioner, and was talking. She was so vibrant and so fantastic, and I absolutely thought she was phenomenal. And the room next to her was loud as could be.
yes.
I swear there was a concert in there. And guys, had this been me, I would have either been A, irate, or B, in a puddle of tears, because I was so emotional for her. The grace and the poise that this woman had was gorgeous. And every single time they cheered, she would go, I know, right? And she was just playing into it. And she was so beautifully reframing it that I was in awe watching her. And I found that to be incredibly helpful to remind me that sometimes shit's just out of your control, and you have to figure out ways to let it go and make it joyful and make it fun. And she did such a great job of that.
Welcome to HypnoThoughtsLive. No, welcome to our industry in total. There have been times we've been doing classes in a hotel that was under construction and trying to teach students how to do inductions with a jackhammer just on the other side of the wall. And you just go, you utilize anything and everything you can to roll with it. Navy jets flying overhead, helicopters flying overhead. You're just like, and you can feel the jets, taking away all of your issues to infinity. Whatever you can do to utilize your environment. And Tracy Cannon, yes. For those of you watching or don't know her last name, Kannan. Great stand-up comedian, amazing sense of humor. I've got to give her and her husband Doug a shout out because they were gracious enough to invest their time and equipment to videotape my talk, which with any chance here will be on my YouTube channel for you guys to view at your leisure and let me know what you think. Yes, Lenora.
And I do want to add that it was an awesome talk because I had the opportunity to sit and be a part of it, and it was great. And you do the same awesome things that you do here. You include people in the conversation, and you also shared so many stories and laced it in. It was very, very natural, whereas mine I thought was very structured, and I love that, and I love being able to see that. And something that I thought was really interesting that I did not see everybody do, but I'm working to make sure that I do it in the future. You gave out calendars, not only, or journals. Not only did they have a business card in it, it was also that you seeded for additional opportunities for people to work with you, which I thought was fantastic. And another great way to encourage people to stay to the end. In one of the things that Holly Mignosi had taught in her speaking group was she called it TATO, and it was a very specific introduction. And what you're doing is you're telling the audience what you're going to tell them before you tell them. In addition to that, you're also encouraging them. You're making an offer. Stay to the end because I have a special surprise for you, or stay to the end because da 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 da. So you're giving people a motivating reason as to why they should stay to the end. And I love that you had mentioned that even as people came in, they all got a card, which was great. And then some people got, all the cards I think had a number, and then they got to choose whether it was a journal or a calendar. And then inside that was, some of them had a free gift inside, which was phenomenal. I thought it was such a great way do they call that tithing? I know we call it seeding. Is it also considered tithing?
All the above.
Okay.
Seeding, marketing. Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. And not everyone did it. And I love that it stood out. And it really was a great, my offer was to download a book off my website. So I love that was there.
Oh, while you guys are talking, I'm going to see if I can find, I don't know if I gave you the coupon for that book, because I told her that I would mention her book offer.
Oh, Miracle.
Obviously, I prepped for this, so I just got home last night and have been unpacking and getting stuff out, and holy cow, I've got so many things to, some of the handouts that I got. Oh, another thing that kind of drove me nuts, there were some speakers that had multi-page handouts that were not stapled together. Here's my 8-page handout. Hopefully it's in order. Hopefully you'll keep it in order, and hopefully you'll get all the sheets to take home so that you can find them and hopefully keep them in order when you get home.
I would just call that a non-linear approach.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one way to. Well, shoot ski. I'm not finding it.
It'll show up.
Well, darn it. I feel bad because I told her I would tell you all about. Oh, well, look at there. I think I got it.
Holly Stokes.
The miracle code.
Yeah.
If you get on there quick, you can download her ebook for $1.99. If somebody wants to type that in, because you probably type faster than I do, then
Got it.
tell her the tall, skinny white boy sent you. That's the cover of the book. Typical lady. Oh, I think that was the
Yep, I put it in.
HT Live at the end. HT Live. So I told her I'd do it. I wanted to make sure that I kept up with it. Anybody else got, Holly got anything you want to share? TJ stepped out.
Oh, well, I've been bumping stuff on my computer here. Yeah, I guess I've got a couple. So I didn't get to go for the core of the training, unfortunately, because it was during my on week, but I did get to go to a post. But you know what? Even just walking around the hallways, going to, dinner, lunch with people, the number of things that I learned, not in official classes, just blew my mind. And one of the things I was just thinking about, how many times have I wished, wouldn't I love to be a fly on the wall when? Wouldn't I love to be a fly on the wall when? And I was just thinking as I was going around, like, the wisdom of, now I'm still learning this, but the wisdom of shutting up and listening and the number of things you can learn just being a fly on the wall, walking around, is absolutely amazing, especially when that group gets together and they feel safe and they're allowed to talk about the things they're passionate about. Wow. Just so much caring, so much love, so much knowledge. When, everybody in there, they've got that, as we talk about that human angel marking on their nose. Like, I love being around groups like that. I really do. So, yeah, it was a truly amazing experience.
Awesome. Lenora.
I wanted to pop back on, and actually, this is such perfect timing, Fran. I'm so glad you're popping on. I had sent a message to Elijah after the conference, after I had gotten back, and unfortunately, Elijah and I have yet to meet in person one day. And I had messaged him saying how much I enjoy how he teaches. When you get to go to these conferences, yes, there are absolutely phenomenal ways that people teach, and I especially love the outbreak groups that occur like this one. So then there's another, even from these conferences, other people create tribes and create groups and continue to teach and continue to learn and grow. And even though they're not at a conference, doesn't make them any less of a teacher or a mentor or a coach. And it's absolutely phenomenal. And I love, Elijah had a class this past weekend, which was awesome. I got to catch some of the replays, and Fran also teaches such a beautiful class every other week. And TJ and Elijah and Fran are absolutely at the top of my list of people that I love to learn from. The way that you all share is so unique, but there's so much value and so much beauty and so much intelligence in everything that you share. So please continue teaching and sharing. And thank you the way that you do it. Oh.
That was a lot. Thank you.
You know me, I'm always at a loss for words.
Well, we got the rest of the hour for topics and questions, and I didn't see too many questions being put in there. Holly.
I considered typing it in and then I forgot. I've got a question. So one of the things I'm trying to learn is learning how to put people in your life on a temporary basis and make the most of that. So like I'm learning, I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of person. Somebody's in my life and it's like, yeah, we're, going to be friends for the rest of our lives. And, you ever need anything, let me know. And don't get me wrong, I love having close relationships with people, and some people may not even realize what I would do for them if they were to reach out because, they never take advantage of it, whatever. And then some people it's like, oh, no, you're toxic, you're gone, which I support. There are some people that you have to do that with. But I'm trying to learn that this person doesn't want to be close with me, but hey, we're going to be together for the next 3 days for a hypnosis conference or whatever. And they still have something valuable that I'd love to see. I'd love to get to know them as a person. I'd love to make them feel good. So how do each of you do that? How do you help them have an amazing limited time with you, knowing this is not going to, it doesn't have to be the best relationship ever, doesn't have to continue forever, but we're still going to make this moment while we're together great.
All right, who's got an answer for Ollie? Come on.
I don't think it's any different from rapport building at any stage. I think you just you be like them, and you pay attention to what is it they enjoy, what is it, how do they respond. You're watching unconscious signals. What kind of things make them laugh? What kind of things set them at ease? What kind of things set them off and make them frustrated or stressed? And you just kind of utilize what you observe to create a good experience for what would essentially be your client in that context. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That was great. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great answer.
You're always calibrating, Holly, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but like always calibrating, when you're talking to someone and you notice, like, maybe some people say yes and other people just nod their head and others kind of but you're always noticing those responses, like how do they say yes? How do they say no? How do they, like, some people say no by shaking their head. Other people say no by moving back, right? And it's not so much what they're saying, but what are they doing? Because the body language speaks volumes over the words, right? So by paying attention and calibrating, you'll get to understand them on a level that most people are not paying attention to, and therefore you can tailor the way you communicate back and feed back to them in a way that will make them feel heard. And everybody loves to feel heard, right? Then they won't want to leave your side.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's funny how it often goes back to the principles, to the basics.
Yeah, I think if you do the basics well, I think you can't go far wrong. Right.
Lenora.
Sometimes, and it depends on the person that is there. So two scenarios came to mind. One was showing up for other people, coming outside of you and saying, okay, well, how can I show up for other people? How can I support them? How can I be there for them? And have it be a feel good situation for everybody around. And the other one was sometimes the universe will put you in a very specific place, not necessarily for your benefit, but for the other person's benefit, because you were you were the right person to be in that space. So how, again, can you show up for them? And when you go back to the basics, like Elijah had said, making them feel good, asking them questions, especially when and we have so many questions and we can just be so curious, which is a great thing. And you can stick with the universal topics. It doesn't have to be this very near and dear, intimate conversation, but it can still be a good conversation and a satisfying one, depending on the topic that you talk about. So even weaving those in and doing the best that you can to be present in that moment versus, man, I really wish I was somewhere else with somebody else.
Another great answer. Fran.
Right. Well, my point on this one, this is a fabulous topic, Holly, is that everybody lives their life on a different scale, like the difference between Fahrenheit and Celsius, and how one person really, really appreciates you shows up so differently from how another person will appreciate you. And especially when it's somebody you care about, it's really hard to accept that they are on just a different scale from you. they really, really appreciate you, but their ways of demonstrating that and appreciating are on a way that's completely outside of your range of responding. And I think it makes interpersonal relationships and long and shorter relationships very challenging to put yourself in their shoes of how they appreciate you. So that's my 2 bobs worth. Thank you.
Awesome. Mark.
You know, again, I was taught to try to maintain a therapeutic distance, you know, from, you know, the client. And I don't know, I kind of rejected that early on doing this work. And, you know, I find that if somebody comes back and they're spending their time to come see me and I choose to care about them, I think I'm far more effective, you know, not for them, but about them, you know, and you know, what happens to them in their lives. So, you know, when we care about our clients, I think we're far more effective than trying to maintain some kind of mythical therapeutic distance.
Yep. Elijah.
Yeah, another thing just came to me, Holly. I don't know if you heard the saying, if you want to solidify a friendship, have the other person do you a favor. And it kind of goes to the whole Tom Sawyer thing where, you know, you ask for a little bit and you ask for a little bit and they give you more and more. And it's this sort of principle of investment that, like, you would think logically that if the other person does you a favor, then it's you who owes them. But it goes the other way around. It's that they've done you a favor. They're now more invested in the relationship between the two of you, and people go to the ends of the earth to protect their investments. So maybe it's not just about what is it you can do for them during your limited time, but also what can you allow them to do for you that might make them feel good about themselves, that they were able to contribute also, you know? So just wanted to add that because I just thought of it now.
Good stuff. Michael.
Along those lines, when you're communicating, you're mirroring, matching, and you're having a conversation with people. In my line of work, people are really stressed out when they come and see me. And so what I do is I'll ask them questions and I'll bring in something like, hey, would you like some water or are you good? And they have to either say, yes, I want water, or yes, I'm good. And when they say that they're good, you can see that their walls start coming down. So I always ask a second question. I'll say, you know, would you like some water or are you good? I always put the other part on there.
Good stuff. What I was going to add on to this is remembering that people are in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lesson. And a lot of times we get attached and we think that they're going to be around for, this is it, found a new bestie, they're going to be around for the restie. And then all of a sudden, it's time for them to go. And we have to go back to that. What were they in our life for? A reason, a season, or a lesson? And then ABT, always be testing, always be testing, be testing, always. And not so much to, you know, bad or good or anything like that, but to see where they're at. You know, the analogy I use with cards, especially for those come to me for relationship stuff, is it's okay if they prove themselves to be a 10. A 10 is still worth having around. But, again, reason, season, or lesson, people change. I've got some people that were best friends when I was growing up. They're in that 7-8 zone now. I've got some people that I've known for under 5 years, 10 years, that are right up in that 10 Jack Queen. So keep the testing and do what you can, but don't stop looking as well. Your next most amazing person is waiting for you to say hi. And yes, everything is temporary and change is omnipresent.
I was just writing, Elijah, so philosophical. There's a storm outside my window. Piggybacking off of what you just said, because there's such a beautiful quote out there that says, "You have yet to meet everyone who's going to love having you in their life."
Yes.
And I love the idea of that. And to really, especially if you've had a friendship that has gone another way and that they're not in your life right now, and being able to say, okay, a reason or a season, and then being able to also look forward. When you get to look forward to it, you can quite literally feel, at least to me, that like, what if something happens, this kind of grip. And then when you think all these people that I have yet to meet, it's like such a difference in physiological response when you think about it.
How many people did you meet at HTL?
I made so many new friends.
Yes. What a concept, right?
I know. Guys, I'm such a nerd. I love going to these conferences. Love.
I've got a client that's moving 2 states away from where they've been living for a long time, and they're kind of freaking out. They've got that excitement going on. But I said, I want you to remember how to build your tribe on purpose this time. Don't gather up everybody that wants to pull you in right away. Kind of like when you went to the new school. Which groups were the easiest ones to get in? Which ones were the hardest ones to get in? The easiest ones to get in weren't always the best group to hang out with in school. Especially if you had a certain level of expectation that you wanted to accomplish in that school. Sometimes it's okay to say hi, keep your distance, test, figure out who they are, figure out who they hang out with, what is their world level like. And that's why I also teach, if you're the smartest person in the room, it's time to change rooms. Comfort zones are a great place to hang, but nothing really grows there. That's why I love having you guys here and having the second part where you guys bring up your topics and questions, and because I want to learn, I want to grow as well. That being said, do we have all the input on that one? Are you satisfied with the answers, Holly?
Can I just say, I love that I live in a world with a tribe that I can have a question that I really want to explore, and less than a week later, I can have a mini masterclass co-taught by a bunch of brilliant, intuitive people. Like, seriously, so many amazing insights. Thank you, everyone. Absolutely amazing.
Whoop, whoop. Well, that being said, we still have 26 minutes left for more masterclass. So who's got a question or a topic? Mark.
I put a question in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, ask it.
I had a client come in and she obviously had PTSD due to a childhood incident, and then reoccurrence was a dog bite. And she said, I can only stay for 4 sessions. And I'm like, okay, I got to, cut out all the everything else, and no time to build rapport, no time to do any of this stuff. It's like I got 4 sessions. I got it back for a 5th session, and he's going to come in the future with, for a termination visit. But how do you deal with that when you've only got 4? They stated categorically, I'm only staying for 4 sessions, but I got to get rid of it. I got to deal with this. How would you attack that? How would you, again, because you got to cut out all the, can't go the normal way. But how would you deal with it?
That's pretty common, but Elijah got his hand up first.
You start with the reframe immediately. It's like, 4 sessions? Really? We have that much time? Are you underestimating your own unconscious mind? Are you underestimating the power you hold within you? Did you know that laying inside you is a sleeping giant that is so powerful and so creative, right? And has access to, and I would just begin immediately. And I would also think about, like, because I'm hearing your words saying like, oh, I got to cut out all the, and take the shortcut. And do you really? Or is it an opportunity to begin to include more, which might be stuff that you hadn't tried before?
Get pushed, in a good way to
yeah. I would begin with the reframe immediately, and by the time the first session is done, I would have them believing that they could achieve anything, so much so that halfway through the second session they'd probably be like, I wonder what else we could work on or work through. Right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Good answer. Michael.
Right on, Elijah. Great job. That is so key. Reframing. We talked about this before, Mark. Also, you don't let people throw you off track. And if they do have to leave after 4 sessions and they're done, then you can let them go, because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And if you did all you could, then they need to go. But with what Elijah said, stay to your process. Do it the way you know it, and ask the ways in.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Yep. Holly.
So loving the answers so far already. One of the things I'm learning, so there's this concept with the Fuji of reps, which is that time is an illusion. And a lot of people, you could do energetic things with that, and next thing you know, something that you thought took 5 minutes really took 3 hours, or something you thought took 3 hours really took 5 minutes. We've all had that experience, I'm sure, even outside of the energetics. But one of the things I'm learning about this principle is also the idea that fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason. And when you have less time, what a lot of people think is, I need to skip the fundamentals. And the truth is, I actually need to double down on the fundamentals. So like, for instance, I'm thinking like, I used to lead a church choir, very amateur, whatever. And it'd be like, oh, we need to learn this really difficult song. And, oh, well, then we're not going to practice our warm-ups before rehearsing. No, nobody's going to be able to sing. Everybody's going to hurt their voices. You want to be able to not sing at the end? Skip the warm-ups, The warm-ups also prime the mind to be able to read music. So, like, for instance, rapport. Rapport is absolutely essential to any change. If I've got a short period of time, I've got to increase rapport, not decrease rapport. If I'm doing something online, that's another one too, that, it's time and space. So if I'm doing something online, I need to increase rapport. I need to, so going to the fundamentals. Another thing that I'm learning too is that sometimes and I'm still learning this, I'm not the best at it at all. But sometimes a person is not a good match. And so, there might be a situation where, yep, there's a shortened time frame. I feel called to do this. This is a good match. And I respect the time frame. We're going to do what we can in the time available. And I'm going to trust the universe sent this person to me for a reason and is going to give me adequate time to get the change that we need to get. But on the flip side, I'm learning boundaries. I'm learning about, all sorts of things. I'm going to ask myself, is the reason I have this shortened time frame because they're artificially decreasing it because they're not ready to change? Is this a red flag, I guess is what we're going to. Are they not ready to change? Are they not fully committed to the change? And it's like, there's a difference between somebody who says, I have a legitimate reason that it's got to be shortened versus a person who is making excuses to try to shorten it because that's a red flag of they're not really all in anyway, but they're just kind of giving it a whirl. Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, we're not the best fit. Wish you well. Maybe I'm even going to refer you to somebody who might be a better fit. But if you decide you're going to take that person on and that they're a good fit and that they were brought to you for a reason and that the time frame is for a reason, like I said, that's the time. Double down on the fundamentals. Once you get going, if you lay the fundamentals down right, I go back to TJ's, wham bam gray room slam. It's an awesome process. I don't know if he wants to go over it, but I use it for everything. I use it for gray room. I use it for David's entire identity by design silo. I use it for some of my own silos that I've created for myself. But I've noticed the key to making that work is doing it enough times that your mind knows the process backwards and forwards. Once your mind knows the process backwards and forwards, it can do it at any speed as many times as you need it to do. But you've got to lay down the foundation first.
Great answers. Good stuff. Fran.
Well, I'm going to jump in with, this is actually a gift that you're put under pressure for time because it forces you into your best game right now. And that is a gift. I had somehow managed to get myself on a psychic reading line, which was paid by the minute. And so people wanted their money's worth, and you had to be so present right now. And this is the gift it gives you. And if they need more, they're going to ask you for more anyway. So it's a beautiful gift.
Another great answer. Now I've got a question for you, Mark. Do you give any of your clients, I don't like calling it homework, I call it optional suggestions, because we're adults. But there are some things that, like with the journals, with the day planner protocol, where I tell them, if you want to conserve time and you want to get the maximum out of this, here's a personal suggestion technique that you can do on your own that you wouldn't be doing with me anyway. And then I teach them that protocol. And then that allows them to feel like they're getting even more benefit out of the time because part of it is instructional.
Yeah, I do tell my clients, like I said, I ran out of my supply of pixie dust. I can't just sprinkle it on you. And you're going to walk out of here all pure. I give them suggestions and, protocols to practice. Like I said, I was able to help her, to a certain extent with the process of the, like I said, her process was, like I said, she had communicated to me in an email that she'd been getting better and using my protocol, but she said that now, she'd had some dreams about different types of dogs, and I was like, okay, I said that's process. You're reconceptualizing, that memory, and it's, an old term, but it's cognitive restructuring. And I give people a lot of suggestions, and sometimes, again, homework assignments to, especially, couples. I try to give them, suggestions to practice when they're not in the office, because I don't have any more pixie dust. The supply chain disruption. I haven't gotten any pixie dust in a while.
Well, I hear that they're making a lot of that pixie dust in China now, and it just doesn't have the same effect as it used to. So,
And I think everybody needs
Did they
home play
clone pixie dust?
assignments.
yes.
Did they clone pixie dust? Really? You can get it on the cheap now. You got to wait
Yeah.
You got to wait 3 to 5 weeks for delivery because they send it by freight.
Watch out for the bad stuff, though.
But you know what, though? I'll be honest with you. Some of the Chinese stuff might be better than the Western stuff. You never know.
Yeah, I probably won't
never
find
know.
out either.
They're collecting fairies and shaking their wings to get that pixie dust. They're much better at it.
Oh, we got 15 minis left. Did you get your question answered, Mark?
Absolutely. Cool. Great suggestions, great insights, guys. I'm very grateful.
And everybody needs home play, not homework.
Yes.
That's right. You don't go to a workshop, you go to a play shop.
Yes. Well, who's got another question or topic that we can run through the end? Come on. I know some of you have like booklets of questions and topics, so. Okay, Fran, what you got?
When I'm talking to a large group about things that are really close to my heart, I am so rubbish on my delivery. And I get caught up and trip over my own shoelaces. How, on the passionate subjects, am I going to get past this? Because I fall into it quite regularly.
Great topic. Who's got it? Holly.
See if I could get the mute button off. So first of all, my first comment is I've heard you speak a lot, Fran, and I have literally never, I was gonna say I've never heard it, or if I have heard it, I've literally never noticed it. So the first thing I would say is what you're perceiving as you tripping over your words and all that sort of thing is probably, you know, you're probably seeing it at 100 or even 1,000 strength of what it really is going on in all of your listeners. Another thing I would say too is as long as you're passionate about it, when I hear somebody talk about something that's absolutely fascinating and they're talking with passion and it's something that's speaking to me, I don't care if they trip over their words. Because the message is so beautiful, who cares about how they're delivering it? Who cares if they use proper grammar and use fillers like hum and and whatever, or end a sentence with a prepositional phrase, or I don't care. If I'm getting gold, if I'm getting life-changing stuff, and I'm feeling that energy and my shen is coming out, none of that matters. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff too, but my first thought is keep talking, keep doing it. The more you do it, the better it feels too. But I know you do it a lot. So, I'm not going to focus on that side, but I don't think it's as strong as you think it is. And even if it is, I don't think it matters.
It's on my most sensitive topics, my babies that I don't share with people, my special stuff, the stuff that I'm investigating, and I haven't got the backup proof and to do a slick presentation. That's where I stumble.
Yeah. Michael.
Holly, beautifully said. And Fran, it's the same thing. If you're coming across emotional, or it's not the words per se, it's the energy. So if you do stumble a little bit, it just shows that you're really passionate and that you care, and that will come across stronger than a slick presentation because you're going to connect. So you're awesome.
Good answer. Lenora.
My question was, Fran, do you mind that you stumble, or is it something that you're wanting to polish and fine tune?
It's because I'm talking about weird stuff, and I grew up in a scientific family. And if you can't measure it, it don't exist. It has no validity. And so I'm trying to explain myself, and I fall over my shoelaces.
Yes, I'm quite familiar with such a feeling. For me, what at least is coming up is to have a conversation with that part and let her know that she's in a place that she can share this and open and talk about it because other people want to hear from her, and find a way to help calm her because she's the one that's trying to, and at least for me, it was, and I'm sure somewhere TJ is laughing at this because there was a part of me for the longest time that was like, and I was like having a meltdown because I was constantly trying to convince people that I knew what I was talking about. And when I finally was able to get to her and let her know it was okay. Nobody here is judging her in a way that she thinks that they're judging and that they really want to hear from her. And that it's safe to stand on the table and to speak and to be heard and to be seen. And I had even imagined her standing on the table or standing on the coffee table, and I think like all the teddy bears were lined up and all the people, and the amount of times that I have talked to you guys in my imagination is staggering. And yes, I think about you quite frequently, in case you're all wondering, and seeing their faces and what they're receiving as I'm talking was the difference that really made the difference. Because for the longest time before that, I had people that were staring at me, that were scowling at me, that were pointing at me, that were whispering. And when I was able to reframe that for her, everything got so much better. And I quite literally can feel when I'm in that pocket of how I'm sharing and the way that it's coming across, and able to slow myself down because I want to deliver it in such a way that it's impactful and it's helpful for them, but also that it truly is just flowing through. And that was something that really helped me. So hopefully that helps you too.
This is so useful because it's actually clarifying everything I wanted to say, which I hadn't said. To me, what I'm actually expressing is like an artistic process, that you're exposing your deepest you. It's like taking your clothes off in public and having people sort of look at your body, and that's the feeling. And thank you, Elijah. Yes. But that's the feeling. It's the I love it. It's the exposure of your deepest parts and trying to explain them to other people and say, cherish this like I cherish it.
Yeah.
Like showing a new baby.
Yeah. There was a lot of, and a number of times, I imagine you've heard of it, cord cutting, and the cord that is connected between the people that you might think would be judging you. So for me, it was people that were close to me. And for a while, I even did a meditation where it was quite literally cutting the cord and separating it and really pulling out all these cords that were attached. And every time I did, I kept saying, this does not make me love you less. This just is putting me first because this is more important. And I had to say it again and again and again because to me, initially, it felt like it was saying that I didn't love them, and it wasn't the case. It was simply that they were not showing to me that they were able to quite literally see and receive and understand what I was talking about. And it was simply that it was just a different level. And even to this day, there are people very close to me that have no idea what I speak about and have not watched my TEDx at all. And it just is what it is. I can't do anything about it. And the people that have come up to me afterwards talking about all the things that I talk about just warm your heart in the best ways. And it makes it so relieving, as in they get it. and
It's
they get, yeah,
It's I trust you with the essence of me.
yeah.
That's the level. Thank you.
Holly's been waiting patiently.
Oh, sorry. I know I've already kind of gone. This is really speaking to me too, because, I also had a father, his major is physics. So, very scientific method. You got to have the 15 sources that support it. And I will say sometimes it's like, even I have the sources, but I don't get them out fast enough. And so all of a sudden my credibility is destroyed and, all this sort of thing. And I've looked at those feelings because they definitely come up a lot. They make me sometimes a little bit defensive, and I over-explain myself, and I start defending myself before I'm even attacked. And some of the things I've learned is, first of all, that feeling comes from there's a legitimate place. It's a good skill to learn. It's a good skill to know I have my 15 sources and whatever. But first of all, Brene Brown, I think it is, that talks about proactive vulnerability. One of the things you've got to know is, who is my group? I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you and see how you treat my message. Not everybody deserves to see all of me. And, maybe this group deserves to see the scientific side of me. This side deserves to see the, spiritual side of me, the energetic side of me, whatever. So first of all, if you're in the wrong group and you shouldn't be trusting those people with that message, listen to that. Give them a different message. Give them one they're ready to hear, because they won't benefit from getting a message they can't hear either. But if you can say, yes, this is my right group, the next couple thing I would say is, also, I have to look at myself and say, is it because I'm afraid that I can't change my mind if it turns out I'm wrong? And if I go in and say, you know what, this is my opinion based on the experience and the research and everything I've done to this date, but I still have an open mind. If something comes along, I reserve the right to update my opinions, update my positions. And honestly, even just this discussion is me exploring the topic. And I may realize things I didn't realize just by having this conversation or this presentation. And so as long as I'm being genuine, I'm being honest, and I'm willing to say, I might be wrong. I'm just telling you the best I have to offer now. As long as I make that clear, I don't have to defend myself. And if they're the right group, now it doesn't hurt to still mention, that research when it's appropriate or whatever. But, I'm also saying, I'm not teaching you the gospel truth. I'm telling you what I know based on my experiences so far. And tomorrow I will have a different opinion, and that's okay. Take what you can from it and leave everything behind that doesn't speak to you.
Thank you, Holly. That was fabulous.
We got 2 guys hands up and we got 3 minutes left. So, Michael.
I'll be very, very fast. I'll put my little hand down. All right. When you were talking, Fran, you said you came back from a scientific background and you were having to prove yourself. And so you trying to explain yourself. We're talking about feelings, and so if you're embracing a new way of thinking or a new something, and you're trying to impart that to somebody, you're good enough. You got it. So everyone in this chat thinks that you're pretty awesome. So.
Elijah.
Mark first. Mark raised his hand first.
I'm going to give your words back to you, Fran. It's a gift, okay? Being up there, interacting with these people, it's it's an emotional thing, like love. Okay, you're talking about something that you're interested in. You might not have all the, the proofs, but like love is a gift. You give it to somebody else. If you get anything back, it's a bonus. So when you're standing up in front of them, you're just speaking your truth, and connecting them. But it's a gift.
And what I was going to add into it is what I've seen and heard is the fear of judgment. And when you know what you're presenting, you'll do the best you can, and they'll either get it or they won't. And that's okay, because worst case scenario, they won't get it. But like everybody said here, if you're being authentic and you're giving the best knowledge that you have to give. They can judge you all they want. That's on them. As long as you're not lying, that was one of the things Jordan Peterson pointed out. He goes, there's a difference between lying and doing the best you can. Don't lie. Do the best you can with the knowledge that you have at the time. And so I tell all my clients that I work with for public speaking, when you're talking to a group, do me a favor, do everybody a favor. Don't talk to the forest. Pick out 2 or 3 trees that you trust. Talk to them. And the fact that everybody else is eavesdropping is what it is. But when you can pick out, even if you don't know a single person in the crowd, but you convince yourself that over there is your bestie from way back, and there's your grandma who you could tell anything and she'd love and believe you. If you got those 2 in the crowd and they're the only 2 you talk to, you can deliver so much easier. Luckily, I learned that when I was in high school from my rich dad. He said, talking to groups is easy. You just got to make sure that you talk to 2 to 3 people that you know. And if you're up on stage where you can look down on them, then the best thing you can do is strategically place them throughout the crowd so that you can look at this person, talk for a little bit, look at this person, talk for a little bit, look at this person, talk to a little bit, so that you're not just sitting there staring off into the distance and not connecting with the crowd. Does that help? Well, that brought us right up to the top of the hour. So I get the privilege once again to thank you guys so much for taking your most valuable commodity of time, because I can't reproduce it yet. You'll know when I can. But thank you for bringing it and offering it up here on this platform once again, not for my benefit, but to help anybody that gets to find this. For those of you out in YouTube, love you, Mom. And if you watch this recording all the way through, thank you. Please do all of the YouTube stuff. Share this with as many people as you can. Click the subscribe. Please go back and leave comments. I enjoy them, and it also helps the channel out a little bit. Until next week, please take care of yourself. Go out and make the world a much better place. Be nice to each other. Love y'all. See you then.
Thanks, TJ. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Awesome class, TJ.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Good night, all.
Adios.